Yes,
What's up, everybody? We are live here on YouTube, StreamYard, wherever you may be watching us right now, or you could be listening to us later. Probably 3 weeks later, because I leave Eric in charge of uploading everything to Spotify. And he waits till we have about 6 shows, and then,
I'll do that. I'll probably do that Monday.
Okay. So look forward to this show on Monday. But all right, so we are live here for When Toons Combine. The Cartoon Classic continues. It is the Family League, which technically means that this is going to have to be a family show. We'll see how long that lasts. But welcome to everybody that's joining us in the chat room, if anybody's there right now. But, of course, I am Dutchie. Joining me, of course, as always, my trusty sidekick, even though he is also a trusty boil on my backside. Money E is here.
What's up?
Yeah. Of course, joining us, as always, as well, kind of a new part of the – well, he's not even new anymore. He's been with us for like 6 or 7 episodes. But Shawn is back with us. How we doing, guys?
Pretty good. How are you?
Pretty good. Coming off a really good episode of the wrestling podcast last night. Everybody brought forth their A game.
Yes, we did.
And it was it was a very fun episode. Everybody gave a lot. Clint only does a show like once a month, so he should give every time he's on there. But
next week will be 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah, which is why we're continuing that Royal Rumble ranking, which by the way is almost like a mirror image of this show, but because I ripped this off from AEW, I'm not going to yell at my brother for ripping this off but all right, so the Cartoon Classic continues. This is the Family League. Tonight's participants in this battle are the Jetsons, Rugrats, Hey Arnold, and Rocket Power. Eric picked this league. Although we've had to change the participants, I think, a couple times because Eric wanted to go adult-oriented at first, but I wanted to keep this into a family show. And then,
actually, I'm glad we switched it up.
Yeah.
I'm glad I chose Rocket Power.
This one's going to be hard. It's going to be a hard one.
Yeah, because it's like, all right, so by the way, these are, it's the Jetsons and, like I said, Jetsons, Rocket Power, Hey Arnold, and Rugrats. So it's the Jetsons versus 3 Nickelodeon cartoons.
Yep.
All right, now to recap before we get into it, I'll let everybody know that so far in this turn, advancing to the single elimination tournament, Ninja Turtles has advanced. They won the Blue League. Biker Mice from Mars won the Other Planets League. Pokemon won the Video Game League. X-Men the Animated Series won the Traffic Light League. Scooby-Doo, Where Are You won the Dog League. And winning the Group League was the Real Ghostbusters. So they all advance to the single elimination tournament. Now your wild card spots, so these cartoons did not win, but they had enough points to where they have wild card spots, is right now the Flintstones, Doug, The Simpsons, and New Adventures of Winnie the Pooh. Now that could obviously change tonight, and Winnie the Pooh could technically get eliminated. And if we have anybody in the chat room, if you would like to help us judge, your scores will count. And your scores will count towards the final total and and all that. And also too, like, even whoever survives, like, because this is league number 7 out of 10, it doesn't necessarily matter who. It doesn't necessarily matter who has a wild card spot at the end, because at the end, the 3 of us, and then maybe I'll do like a community vote or something like that. We'll get to pick to resurrect an eliminated cartoon to go to battle a wild card spot, to battle for the wild card spot to get into the 14 cartoon single elimination tournament. But that's still like a few weeks away. All right, your categories for tonight, as always: theme song, animation quality, characters, episodes, humor and entertainment value. We go on a scale of 0 to 10. Now, last night it was funny because we do the same thing, although we do it from 1 to 10. We did it from 1 to 10 last night on the wrestling show, and Eric tried to do his usual bullshit 7.5, and Daniel's like, no, fuck you.
There goes the family.
Yeah.
The family oriented, and we're only 6 minutes in.
Yeah. Well, that's going to be the only F-bomb I drop, I promise.
New record.
But, well, at least I hope. But yeah, Daniel's just like, no halves. We're not doing you gotta keep it simple, which, by the way, simple is not part of Eric's vocabulary.
Hey,
it's not.
It isn't.
You can be like, hey, all you want, but it's not. If it was, I wouldn't want to kill you all the time.
Throw them out the window.
Yeah. Well, luckily we're in 2 different houses. All right. But all right. So scale from 0 to 10. Like I said, the Jetsons, Rugrats, Hey Arnold, Rocket Power. We know what the 5 categories are. So let's go ahead and get started before I drop another F-bomb. First category is theme song. Again, anybody in the chat room, you're welcome to also judge well. If you join us. If not, then we'll just go by what the 3 of us say. We're going to start with the Jetsons, and Shawn, as always, we're going to start with you.
9.
Okay.
I put it almost up there with the Flintstones.
Yeah.
I liked it a lot. I think it's very well known.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah.
But it's not perfect, so it doesn't deserve a 10, but it 9.
Yeah. Anybody know who this is?
That's my friend David.
Okay, cool.
That's just his channel name.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't recognize it, and it sounded like somebody. It sounded like somebody you would know.
Oh, I share it to a couple of people.
Yeah. Well, we appreciate that.
thanks,
So,
Shawn.
all right.
No, I was saying thanks, Shawn.
Yeah. So, all right, Eric, we'll go to you next.
I'm going to slightly disagree with Shawn. I'm going to give it a 10 because it's a classic.
Yeah. So the funny thing about the Jetsons is that, you could put it up there with the Jetsons because it's one of the big, original theme songs. Because Jetsons, Flintstones, and even Scooby-Doo kind of put the cartoons really back on the map.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's as good as the Flintstones. I don't think it's bad. I'm not going to trash talk it. I'm only going to give it an 8 though. And by the way, Eric, I forgot to do the thing, but when Eric gave it a 10, he bowled a strike. Because I do try to. Yeah. Good job, Eric.
Thank you.
So in the chat room, Dave is his name?
Yeah, I just messaged into the chat, letting them know. You'll see it. Bye.
Oh, that a boy. Proud of you. So,
Anything to support my homies.
Well, we appreciate that. Sometimes I think you do a better job promoting the show than I do.
I've
right.
been doing it longer.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so we move on to Rugrats. And Shawn, we're going to start with you.
9. I watched the hell out of Rugrats as a kid.
Yep.
And it's, like I said, a lot of these numbers are going to be the same because these are tough shows that I watched religiously as a kid.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I forgot how good Rocket Power was.
Yeah, Rock Power's gonna win.
Yeah. Well, we'll get to that. So,
But yeah,
all
9.
right. All right, Eric.
I agree with Shawn. 9.
All right. By the way, it's probably gonna be very hard to predict the winner here.
Yeah.
So I'm actually gonna say, even though again, there's no lyrics to it, but it's just like your standard, almost like Nickelodeon theme song.
Yep.
So I'm gonna say 9 as well.
Wait, Eric, you gave the last category a 10, right?
Yeah.
For
what was
Jetsons?
it?
For Jetsons, yeah.
Jetsons,
You didn't say strike, Doug.
Yeah, I know. I mentioned that.
Oh,
I said strike.
Yeah, he said it.
I must have not heard it. I must have been typing.
Yeah.
Never
That's all
mind.
right.
Just edit that part out.
I mean, it's okay to point out the fact that I missed something that I was trying to coin, that
2 weeks ago.
Yeah, exactly. All right. So we're gonna move on to Hey Arnold, Shawn.
10. It's just perfect in my eyes. It was a great theme song. It wasn't too much, but it wasn't too little.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense.
And like it's one of those things where like you could clap your hands, you could stomp your foot to it.
Yeah. It gets you going.
Because that's legit what they do in the theme song. Eric?
I'm gonna give it an 8.
Okay.
I liked it, but I don't think it's up there with the classics.
Right. And I don't think it's really meant to be, because again, Nickelodeon was very simple.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Simple, to the point. They didn't need any. You didn't really need anything fancy. You just needed to have a good show that was gonna, because really at the time they were competing with Disney.
Yeah.
This Cartoon Network really was not they were not putting out original shows yet. I mean, they would start like shortly after this, but
Wasn't Hey Arnold one of the shows that like graphically started to change the landscape of how cartoons were going? Or was that more like SpongeBob?
I mean, the graphics in this were really, which we'll talk about that in the next category.
True.
True. But no, like Hey Arnold was just like, and I was watching, some of it this morning, because this was one of those weeks where it's just like, oh, really don't have anything to do. I could watch, because I usually watch Pro Football Talk every night when I get home from work, but since they're going to be talking about a Super Bowl that I don't care about, I can, watch cartoons and all that. But I'm like, dang it, I gotta watch Royal Rumbles for Friday's show, because I gotta put that show ahead of all the other stuff that I'm doing, because one, it's more subscribers and it's our longer show.
Mm-hmm.
But like, yeah, no, Hey Arnold definitely, like, and my score for the theme song would be a 9. So, David in the chat room, if you want to go ahead and drop some scores, Jetsons, Rugrats, Hey Arnold, and Rocket Power for the theme song, score 1 to 10, or if you didn't like any of them, you can say 0. Eric took advantage of that a few weeks ago.
He might not score all of the time because he's currently live streaming himself. But.
Yeah. Oh no, that's fine. And whatever scores he drops, I'm still going to count them.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't have to be consistent. If there's anything I'm not going to judge somebody on, it's being consistent, because I'm really not that consistent myself.
Fair enough.
So, all right. So we're going to move on. And this one is going to be interesting, because I know, Shawn, this is your favorite show.
Yep.
So
10.
Rocket Power's theme song. You're going
10.
10?
10. If I could go higher, I would.
Yeah.
It was just like, obviously for me being somebody that was like really into sports and like skateboarding and stuff.
Yeah.
That show just was like, that drew to me heavy just because of how similar I was to that.
Yeah.
And the theme song is great. I mean, it has a couple of lyrics, but not so much. And it's just a really cool song.
Yeah. And again,
it's different.
Nickelodeon, it just kind of speaks to, Nickelodeon could get away with something being basic and it still being good.
Yep.
And by the way, Steve Reich. So we've already bowled 3 strikes in this category.
Strike.
Thank you, guys. All right, Eric, we're gonna go to you
9.5.
All right. Care to expand a little bit?
It's right up there with I think it's one of the best Nickelodeon theme songs. It's catchy. Maybe the best Nickelodeon theme song.
I don't know if I would go that far. I think the best Nickelodeon theme song, and you're gonna hate this, I still think the best Nickelodeon theme song is SpongeBob. Okay.
Fair enough.
I mean, not necessarily a great show, although technically, because I'm tired of fan outrage, it's probably going to get revived for a battle in the wild card. But as far as this theme song goes, it's not like it is a good song. And again, Nickelodeon could get away. I could say it till I'm blue in the face, or even purple in the face like my shirt, and Nickelodeon can get away with basic, and it still be considered like a top like 10 or 20 theme song. I'm gonna give it a 9.
And keep in mind, I rate this higher than 2 of my shows, Hey Arnold and Rugrats.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's just, it's sometimes basic works. You don't have to go all out. Disney went all out for a lot of their cartoon theme songs.
And it works for them sometimes.
Yeah, it works for them, and that's why people revere Disney as one of the greatest. A lot of the Disney cartoons is some of the greatest out there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But sometimes basic works, and sometimes like you get past the theme song, and then you watch the cartoon. It's like maybe it's not that good, and then like. You watch a Nickelodeon cartoon, theme song is basic, but then you're like, and then you watch the cartoon and you're like, all right, this is better than, like, this is more than basic. This is actually really good.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which we're going to talk about. And right now, this is pretty much a horse race.
Yep.
We're only one category in, and already because Rocket Power, Hey Arnold, and Jetsons have each bowled a strike. Like this could go to the very end, and Winnie the Pooh could be in some trouble.
Oh, that's my mission.
Huh?
You might have to do a poll for this.
If we end up having a tie, maybe. But we'll see. All right. So we're going to move on to animation quality. Don't aim for that. Don't do. And I'm talking to you up in the upper whatever corner I'm not in. Do not aim to make this a tie.
Oh no, I'm not.
Yes, that would make my life a little more difficult, which is what you're good at. But do not aim to make this a tie. If it ends up that way, then it ends up that way. But do not make that your mission.
No, I know. I wouldn't do that.
You've done it before. Not on this show, but on previous shows where it's something ends up a tie, and it's like, all right, well, a tie doesn't do us any good, but
Oh, when we did settle in the ring.
yeah. So if it ends up that way, let it end up that way organically. If you do it on purpose, my foot is going somewhere that I can't say on air.
I got you.
All right, good.
Jesus.
Sometimes you
Anyway.
have to, huh?
I said anyway.
Yeah. Well, I didn't say the words.
That's fair. It was implied.
Yeah. But all right, so animation quality, we'll start with the Jetsons, and Shawn, we'll start with you.
I gave it an 8.5. It was pretty good for, I think I say this every week, pretty good for the time.
Yeah. By the way, 1965 is when this came out.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's just impressive.
well, and
I mean,
Hannah,
it looked like they just took their time. You know, showed a little bit of care into it. It wasn't blocky or anything like that.
yeah, like it's like Hanna-Barbera knew what they were doing.
Yeah.
I mean, Hanna-Barbera technically can almost be considered the originals. I mean, you could probably also say Warner Brothers because they're the one. You know, they came out with the Looney Tunes shorts back in the 20s and 30s.
Mm-hmm.
But Hanna-Barbera was the first one to produce a full-length animated show.
Yeah.
So, all right, Eric, we're gonna go to you.
I'll give it a 9.
Okay. All right. So I'm gonna agree with Eric. I'm gonna give it a 9. And the reason why I'm gonna give it a 9, like Shawn just said, it's like, you know, it's good for the time. And Hanna-Barbera, like I said, they knew what they were doing. They were really the kings of animation for a while. But then, like, you know, different times happen, and you know, then you had Filmation come out, and then Disney, Nickelodeon, and Cartoon Network, and you had all these other animation studios that really knew what they were doing. But yeah, for the time and for the fact that they were the kings in the 60s and 70s. But yeah, all right, so I give it a 9. All right, we're gonna move on to Rugrats, Shawn.
I gave that also an 8.5.
Okay.
Pretty much the same reasons, minus like for the time period.
Yeah.
It was early 90s or late 90s, I think. I can't remember which one. But it was still pretty good. You could tell that they were like, they didn't go the more realistic route of what humans would really look like in a sense, but they didn't like far away from it or drive away from it. It was kind of like the start of realism with cartoonish aspects.
Yeah.
And it worked fine for me, especially, I mean, it's a kid's show, so can't go too impressive, I guess.
You don't need to go complicated for a cartoon.
No.
I mean, they do it nowadays.
Well, it's easier nowadays, though.
Yeah.
With all the AI and stuff, so.
AI and all like the computer technology and all that stuff.
Yeah, back then it was still probably still shots of people's actual drawings.
Yeah.
Not so much on a desktop as it was hand drawn.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. Eric?
I gave Rugrats a 9.
Okay.
I thought it was very good quality.
I mean, yeah, it was. I mean, I'm going to bowl the strike. I'm going to give it a 10.
Strike?
Because, again, they... And by the way, I want to believe, because the show came out in 91, same as Ren and Stimpy and as Doug. And I'm pretty sure that Doug was first, then Rugrats, then Ren and Stimpy.
Yeah, Rugrats had a decent following when it first came out.
Yeah, because it was new and it was fresh, and Nickelodeon was working with MTV. I think had a lot to do with it too. If you look at the
and once they started releasing the movies, and the movies were in very good quality.
Yeah.
And I think that helped them too, because then it didn't feel as much as like a cartoon.
Yeah. And by the way, when you go 3 seasons and then your network stops ordering episodes, but you're doing good enough in syndication where kids are watching you, when you have a decent following, when you're on in the morning, you're on in the afternoon, you're on at like 6, 7 o'clock at night or whatever, but you're doing well in all your time slots that you're on, to where they order a couple of television specials, which is the one of them I think was the Passover special.
The only one I remember was they like go to Japan or something like that.
Yeah, well, I think that was later on, but I think like 95, 96, or
there might have been.
They
like
did
an hour-long special or something like that.
They did like an hour-long special where it was they did Passover, and I think they did one for Hanukkah, or
maybe
Hanukkah or Christmas, or maybe both.
Knowing the following they had, it was probably both.
Yeah, but you air a couple of hour-long television specials, your ratings are up, so it's like, okay, well, we haven't had a regular season since 93, 94. We're in 95, 96 now, but these just did good ratings for us. So now we're going to, let's bring the show back. Let's create new episodes.
Yep.
And by the way, they did that several times. But all right, we'll move on to Hey Arnold, Shawn.
I'll give it a 9. It was again, this whole category for all of them is pretty much the same answer. Like they kept it cartoony, but they try to make it realistic to real people. But they also kept it cartoony. And I mean, Hey Arnold was clean too, like graphically wise, like the pixels and all that. Like they were just, it was a lot cleaner than Rugrats, I should say.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I gave them a 9.
Okay. Eric?
I'll give it a 9.
Okay.
Very good quality. Almost perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, almost perfect. That's why you gave it a 9 out of 10.
Yep. Try not to be biased.
Yeah. All right. All good there, David. If you have scores you would like to give for, we did theme song earlier. If you want to give scores, or you could just give scores on the animation quality. We go 1 to 10. We are rating right now. We are on the animation category. Jetsons, Rugrats, Hey Arnold, Rocket Power. Scores 1 to 10. You can do them all at once, or you could try to follow along. But we all talk. Well, I at least talk too fast and too much. So, go ahead, give a score for. Again, it's the animation quality. All right, so we are on Hey Arnold. Eric just gave his. I'm going to say 10. So Steve Reich.
There's going to be a lot of 10s in this.
I told you I wasn't going to be biased in this, Doug.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, and we're a couple of categories in now. I believe you.
As much as I wanted to.
Well, and that's the thing, is that like you have to try to you do have to try to be objective.
Yeah.
It is very hard. All right, so so David gives the Hey Arnold animation quality, gives that a 7.
And I was trying to look at it from now instead of when I was a kid.
I think we all have that problem though, right?
Yeah. Sometimes your mind goes to when you're a kid, but I was trying to be objective and amen
to that. All right. So, but yeah, like, but that's a really good point. Is that like we're going back and we're watching a lot of shows that that we were fans of when we were kids.
Yep.
Now, again, I was never really a Nickelodeon guy. Now, my sister was. I liked Disney.
You know, I was.
Okay. But like the thing is that like I was a Disney guy. My brother's a Cartoon Network guy. Sister was a Nickelodeon girl. I wanted to make sure because if I would have said Nickelodeon guy, I'd be in a lot of trouble. But like, you know, you like what you like, and you do have to try, especially doing a show like this, you want to try to be objective.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to move on to Rocket Power. So Dave in the chat, we are moving on to Rocket Power right now, the animation quality there. And Shawn, we're going to start with you.
9.5.
I thought you were gonna go 10.
I was thinking about it, but at the same time, I'm like, I remember episodes that were kind of like not patchy, but they were like, you can kind of see like a blur coming off the character a little bit.
Yeah.
And that's just like nitpicking, but it was also, I think it was better because how I was saying, like they kept it cartoony to more realistic. I think this cartoon had more on the realism side and less of the cartoony for all their characters, if that makes sense. Like you could tell they were cartoony, but
yeah,
not as bad.
Oh, for sure. And by the way, David in the chat room said he said Jetsons would be like an 8 or 8.5. So I just wrote down 8.5.
Yeah, that's fair.
So all right, Rocket Power, Eric.
9. I thought it was really good quality.
Yeah, and that's the thing, and you know, Shawn brought up some really good points, and then like, but you look at this, and again, because this came out 99, I believe, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, so 99, it's kind of on the tail end of Disney's, you know, or not Disney, you know, Nickelodeon's like big run in the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
Of, you know, releasing a lot of these cartoons, which you know, again, 3 of them, you know, Rocket Power's going against 2 others. So it's on the tail end. It kind of came in with SpongeBob. Doesn't have the longevity that SpongeBob did. But still, like for animation quality, it's definitely all right. It's definitely for me, it would be a 9. So, all right, Dave gave Rugrats animation quality a 9. David, what do you rank Rocket Power's animation quality? While we wait for an answer in that, then which sometimes I forget that, like, you know, you're talking to somebody in the chat room who has to type it in.
Mm-hmm.
Like the words come out of our mouths, it takes us like 5 seconds. Like it might take,
and there's a couple second delay.
Yeah. So, all right. So we're gonna move on to characters. The Jetsons is first up, and Shawn, that means you're first up.
8. I think, like obviously, it was just more surrounded by the Jetson family.
Yeah.
And it, like, other than I think his boss, and didn't really expand other than just being surrounded by the Jetson family.
Yeah.
And I mean, and they were, you know, the working dad, horrible boss, the trophy wife, I would assume, and then the kids, and then you got the dog, and it was just a space version of the basic family show at the time.
Yeah.
And I mean, it worked, clearly, but it wasn't top tier
Right. David gave Rocket Power's animation a 9. So that's definitely going to help the scores go up a little higher. And Winnie the Pooh might be screwed. And to be honest with you, Jetsons might have a little something to fear for too. Yeah. All right. So he gives David in the chat gives Jetsons characters a 7. Eric, what do you think?
For Jetsons animation quality, I'll give it an 8.5.
You know we're on character, right?
Characters.
Oh,
You did animation quality already, Eric. You gave that a 9.
I give Jetsons 9.
Okay. I know, Eric, it's a lot to keep track of, and because I just said animation quality for something else, so that it's a lot to keep track of. So you're good on there. I mean, do it again. I'm going to yell at you, but
I thought we were still on animation.
it's okay. All right. So as far as characters go, I'm not going to be so kind. Because I was never really a Jetsons fan.
Oh, I thought you were.
No, Flintstones was more my thing than Jetsons were.
Okay.
So I'm gonna say a 6. So I'm dragging it down a little bit. I'm sure the Jetsons fan base is not going to be happy with me. So, all right. And David in the chat, by the way, changed his Rugrats score to, and I'm allowing him to do this because he said 9.5. So all I had to do was write a 0.5. I didn't have to cross anything out. So we went 9. He went 9.5 on Rugrats animation quality. Now we're moving on to Rugrats characters.
What did Shawn give Jetsons?
He gave it an 8.
Okay.
Okay. And this is a good point by David in the chat. He goes, Jetsons episodes, I feel, was mostly around the father, not much around the other members, I feel. And he's got a point. I mean, there was
got a point there, yeah.
Yeah. And it really was. Now that he brought that up, it's like, no, that's very true.
If I had to remember that, I would probably give it a lower score, but I'm not going to make you change it.
Yeah, because even the theme song, we should have brought that up. Like during the theme song, it's more just centered on him and like, you know, what he has to do.
Yeah.
Okay, send that kid to school. Send this kid to school. Wife takes the wallet, you know, and the silence. The silence in that is loud.
Yeah, which by the way, and on an episode of Family Guy, when they do that episode, when they play the Jetsons theme song, and Jane goes to take the wallet, you know, George
and he catches her. He's like, "No, I pulled this out for you. You take this, not my wallet."
Yeah, and then you know, I can't really say what ends up next because this is a family show, but
yeah. All she says is she wanted to go buy some groceries.
Yeah,
and then what follows is a worst response.
Yeah. All right. So we're going to move on to Rugrats characters. There's a lot more variety in this show of characters.
Yeah, I gave them a 9 simply because of the variety of it.
Yeah.
Because you had Tommy, you had Chucky, Angelica, and then the twins. I can never remember the twins. Dill and
Phil and Lil.
Phil and Lil? I thought it was Dill and Phil.
Dill was ended up being Tommy's younger brother.
Ah, right. Thank you. But yeah, so like, yeah, there's just so much going on those ones. It kind of like a lot of episodes were surrounded where they're together, but they had the episodes where, you know, they explained more of the other kids and stuff, gave them a little more. No, I wouldn't say there was like one star character in the show. They were almost equal.
Yeah. Now,
Maybe.
in like the first few episodes of the show, they kept mentioning, like they mentioned a few times, they mentioned Chucky's mother,
Mhm.
that she was technically still alive. Now, did they ever show her on camera?
No,
I don't think so.
I don't believe they've
Being
ever.
alive?
They've showed, I think, a picture,
Yeah.
and that was, I think, during the movie or like the episodes leading up to the movie.
I know there was an episode where the father had to bring up, because Chucky found a picture of her and the dad really didn't want to talk about it.
Yeah,
But like, because in like the early episodes, they did mention Chucky's mom being. Now they never showed her. As far as I know, they never showed her.
they never showed her. I don't think the first couple episodes you ever.
I don't even. Yeah, they didn't
I
show
don't
Chaz
do-
either.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
It was just the main family, and I think Angelica, because that's the cousin.
Angelica's parents. They showed Phil and Lil's mom at least.
Yep.
All right, Eric, what do you give Rugrats characters?
Even though it's one of my favorites, I give it a 7. There's only like 5 main characters, so and just looking back at it, they were good, but it's kind of corny too.
Okay. And I applaud your objectiveness here. I mean, they had a good variety of characters.
Yeah,
Because you had all the families, and then when Susie Carmichael was introduced later on, so you had a lot of characters. Now, yes, it was mainly centered around the Pickles family, and then like Tommy's friends.
Mhm.
But you did have other episodes where Phil and Lil's parents were heavily involved.
Yep.
I kind of figured. I remember this episode, David. But yeah, I don't remember her I don't remember them ever showing her on camera when she was technically still alive.
Yeah, I don't think I don't think they ever did. The flashbacks would seem familiar, but I don't think like they've ever shown her outside of a memory.
Yeah, she did that. Like they did say she died of like a terminal illness or something like that. Because they brought that up in the episode where they brought up the flashbacks.
Yeah, they bring it up a lot when his dad's in the movie, and like when they go to Japan and he meets that girl, they bring her up a lot.
Yeah, the Rugrats. No, it was was it Japan or wasn't the movie Rugrats Go to Paris?
There was one that goes to Paris, but the one I'm talking about, they go to like what is the dinosaur name? Reptar or something like that. Reptar. They go. I'm pretty sure they go to Japan for like. They go to like the Reptar Palace or some BS thing like that.
That's not the movie where they meet the wild thornberries, is it?
No, because that's their own spinoff.
Okay.
That was their own like connection, almost like when they did it with Hey Arnold.
Okay.
And I think it's because the Thornberries wasn't doing so well in the ratings, so they're like, we should probably put them together for a movie real quick.
By the way, Wild Thornberry, and it's funny that you mentioned that they weren't doing so well. They never get mentioned.
No. Only the brother. That's it.
Yeah, like Wild Thornberries is never in a conversation for like best Disney.
If that was one of the challenges or one of the things we were discussing, that would probably be like lower than 5 being the highest score I would give it for anything.
Yeah. All right.
But yeah, like I said, they went to Japan for like some Reptar amusement park or something, and then Chucky's dad finds that girl, or vice versa. I think Chucky finds the girl's daughter or something like that, and they befriend each other, and then the parents do something.
Yeah, I know what you're talking. See, now that you're bringing it up, now it's kind of coming back. Like the mental pictures are starting to get there.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so my score for the Rugrats characters, I'm going to agree with David in the chat, and I'm going to say 10.
Strike.
Steve, right?
Strike.
All right, so we're gonna move on to Hey Arnold's characters, and we're Shawn. Again, we'll start with you. So, David in the chat, we're on Hey Arnold now.
I gave that a 9 as well. Pretty similar for like the Rugrats. I mean, it's obviously based more centered on Arnold and his grandparents, but I think all the characters had their own unique personality.
Yeah.
And I don't know how to put it, but other than, they all had their own unique personalities and it was relatable for some of them. So can't give it a 10 though.
Yeah.
Wasn't perfect.
All right, Eric.
Again, one of my favorites, but I'm only going to give it a 7. As Shawn said, the whole show only surrounds around one character. That's Hey Arnold.
Yeah, I mean, you have your side characters, but they're not like as prominently featured as Arnold is.
No, everybody wanted Arnold.
They're not memorable,
too,
in my opinion.
Repeat that again, Eric.
They're not. The side characters are not. Maybe few, but they're not memorable. I don't even remember.
I mean, Helga is.
Helga.
Oh, yeah,
Helga is the most known because of her crush for Arnold and how she would be such a bully, but then behind him she's like, "Oh my god!"
Arnold.
They made it so dramatic.
Yeah. All right.
And everybody wanted Arnold's room, right? Like, who wouldn't want that type of bedroom?
Yeah. By the way, David in the chat gives Hey Arnold characters an 8. I'm actually going to agree with Eric, and I'm going to say 7. Again, not really like the side. I mean, there were a lot of side characters, but you really didn't hear much from them.
Yep.
Yeah.
You heard from Arnold. You heard from his grandfather a lot. His grandmother just kind of was like,
the typical cartoon grandmother.
Yeah. No, can't forget Gerald, because Gerald was usually in a lot of Arnold's, focal point of a lot of Arnold stuff, which we're going to talk about when we get to episodes.
Yep.
But yeah, like there was nothing like none of the other characters really stood out like Arnold did.
No.
So we're going to move on to Rocket Power. So David in the chat, we're going to move on to Rocket Power now and their characters. And Shawn, this is your show. This is your favorite show. So
yeah,
we would start with you anyway. But
yeah, this is another 9 for me because it was just centered around the kids. Obviously, you knew the single dad, his buddy that ran the shack with him, and then you knew one of the kids' brother, and that was pretty much it.
Well, they had Twister and they had Squid, right?
Yeah. Yes. So other than like the bully, it's almost like Hey Arnold, only more in depth with side characters.
Yeah.
But not so in depth that not like Rugrats, I would say, or where their background more. But they're all relatable. Everything about that show was super relatable at the time.
Yep.
And I think that's why it was so great too. It was more believable, I guess you could say, as like their personality wise, not what they were doing in the show. But
right.
So yeah, 9.
Yeah. All right. So David in the chat gives it an 8.5. Eric, we're gonna move on to you now.
I'm going to agree with David. 8.5. I think each character had a role. The kids.
Yeah. So to me, and by the way, this morning when I watched the episodes, this technically, except for maybe when it first came out, I can't remember, but technically for me watching it this afternoon, it was kind of like a first for me because I really don't remember a lot of this stuff.
Yep. Same with me last night when I watched it.
So like watching it, I was just like, all right, well, this is and the characters, by the way, I think Otto's a jerk. I think he's a self-centered boob who, especially, and we're going to talk about episodes in a few minutes, but the one episode where he gave the sponsorship up in the end, but to me, he's just
Nodo?
Otto.
Yeah, no, I said know-it-all.
Oh, know-it-all.
Yeah, I mean, he's not.
More
To be honest with you, that's one of the if his father ever did decide to just haul off and belt him, he should not be arrested for child abuse. He should actually be given a key to the city, because that kid deserves to get his behind kicked.
Right. And the sister was more of the sense of reason.
Yeah, exactly. Which, by the way, having a sister, they're not, sense of reason usually is not their, wheelhouse.
Yeah, I can see that.
I mean, Eric only has a brother. You have 3 other brothers, so you really don't know that.
Nope.
But now, does your wife have sisters or brothers or something like that? Or
3 brothers, 2 sisters.
Good Lord.
Yeah.
The holidays must be fun with all those people.
Yeah, there's about 18 grandkids, I think.
Good Lord.
Her oldest brother has 4, and then her sister has 5. And then her other sister has 2.
And then, of course,
So 9. So there's 12, I think. And then now, R2. So
yeah,
we're at 13 or 14 up there.
So grandparents got to buy a lot of Christmas gifts.
Oh God, you don't understand. It was crazy when we went up there over Christmas.
Now, are all the cousins the same age?
The youngest one is 6 months, I think she is. And then it goes up from 9 all the way up to 17.
Okay.
18 or something like that.
Xavier's the 9-month-old, right?
He's 8 months. Her sister has a younger daughter than him.
Okay.
By a month or 2 or something like that. I think. Or I could be wrong. Or no, Xavier's the youngest.
Yeah.
My bad.
Did she just correct you?
No, she's yelling at me.
Oh, okay.
He's probably trying to climb up on his kitchen. Get behind it.
I thought she corrected you.
If she was watching, she probably would have.
All right, so we don't want to start that, so we're gonna move on to all right. So my rating for the characters for Rocket Power, I forgot I didn't do that yet. I'm gonna say an 8. So now the next category is episodes. So David in the chat room, we're on the episodes category now. We're starting with the Jetsons. Shawn, go ahead.
8. I just think they were all, they were all different, I guess, but they all felt the same at the, it was kind of the same plot over and over and over and over.
Yeah.
In a way, it wasn't repetitive, but after a while of watching it, it's just we do something a little different for once. And yeah. I don't really know how to expand on it, but that was just my feeling when I was watching the episodes I did. They're not bad. They're not bad episodes in any way. A lot of they had, a good split between serious and funny and just kind of corny stuff.
Yeah.
And then more of the relatable, this is how a family today is actually and stuff. So that's why I'm saying it's not awful.
Right. All right. So David in the chat gives him a 6. Eric, what are you doing?
I'm giving it a 6 because, as Shawn alluded to, it's kind of all basically the same kind of episodes. Yeah, I want to sit down and watch a whole series of episodes for an hour or 2, or 2 hours or whatever.
Yeah.
So it doesn't make me sit down and watch it Jetson for a whole day.
So, all right. So to me, And I actually 100% agree because I was watching some of the episodes earlier this afternoon, and I started to fall asleep.
I wouldn't say that too. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's also like what David said, going back to it just felt mostly around the father.
Yeah.
It never really expanded off of that. And
I mean, you had the one episode that was like Elroy and Astro get cast for a TV show, and George made it about him. Like, the only thing that stood out in that episode was the fact that every time Astro got a chance, Astro would bite the producer in the backside.
Mm-hmm.
Like, every time he saw the producer, he would go behind him and just bite him right in the butt.
Yep.
And then the one time, like, he actually ripped off his shorts, and Jane's just like, wait a minute, he's wearing hearted boxers? Like, that's like the only like thing that makes that episode stand out. And I don't know if that says what kind of a human being I am, that the only thing that I stood out to me was a dog biting a guy in the behind. But yeah, so for me, like, the episodes, I would agree, and I would say a 6. Because nothing felt different.
Yep.
Yeah. I could have gotten lower, but I didn't want to get shot.
I'm not going to shoot you. To be honest with you, like, Jetsons wouldn't even crack, as far as like my all-time favorites, they wouldn't even crack my top 30.
Oh, wow.
So I'm not going to have a problem with it. Your former boss might have a problem with it because I think the Jetsons are her favorite.
I'm actually surprised she's not here.
And I've been waiting for you to make her mad for years. So if you want to badmouth the Jetsons, that's okay with me. I'm actually surprised she's not here too, because she said that she might be able to do it, and I didn't hear anything from her today.
Yeah, I'm surprised Liz is not here either.
Yeah,
but Liz is probably enjoying her weekend off. So
yeah. So, all right. So we're going to move on to Rugrats. So, David in the chat, we are on Rugrats episodes now. And Shawn, we're going to start with you.
8.5. Not all the episodes were the same. I mean, there were some funny moments, but they weren't like drop to your knees, die laughing. There's like kind of like the side chuckle.
Yeah. Well, remember, like, that's a humor and entertainment value is a whole nother category.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, they kept it different for most of the episodes, but then they also kept like the same storyline kind of through other episodes, if that makes any sense to you guys.
Yeah.
Like, they didn't, how do I put it? Not every episode was like repetitive from a previous one, but they consistently, at least they finished the story. If they started it, they finished it, but it didn't drag itself out.
Yeah.
Unless it was like a really, like the Chucky's mother and dad getting married type of stuff. But
yeah.
But I thought they were really well done. They kept me interested.
Yeah. Eric?
I'll give it a 7. Just looking back at it as an adult, maybe some episodes were kind of boring, but as a kid, I loved it. But as an adult, yeah.
So for me, watching some of the episodes that I watched, I actually like enjoyed it. And again, I was not a Nickelodeon guy when I was a kid, so I did not like Rugrats when I was a kid. But watching the episodes back now, and by the way, David in the chat gives it a 9, which I actually agree with. I'm going to give it a 9 as well.
That's a good explanation too.
Yeah. Hold on. Let me put that up here. I'll read it too. All right. Rugrats 9. Didn't know what Tommy and the crew were going to get into, and each journey they took in the house or the backyard was always different, which it was.
Yeah.
Yep.
No episode. Again, we just talked about with the Jetsons where everything felt the same.
Yeah.
In Rugrats, you could argue, oh, well, they're always getting into trouble. Yeah, but they're usually getting into different kinds of trouble.
Yeah.
You go from, okay, you're holding a circus, or Angelica's, thinks she's a doctor, or Tommy is trying to open up his father's chest because he thinks he's a robot. Or Tommy, getting lost in a high school.
Yeah.
The
grandpa. I think the only thing that was repetitive is the grandpa passing out in the recliner.
The passing out in the recliner. I'll tell you, one of the better episodes that I did watch was when he took his teeth out to eat the potato salad, and of course Spike ran off with the teeth, and then a bunch of ducks ended up with the teeth, but Tommy was just like, "We got to go get Grandpa's teeth, Chucky," and he's like, "Tommy, it's not a good idea." He goes, "My Grandpa is one of the greatest people on this earth. He's one of the greatest people I know." And when Tommy always gives that pep talk, where
with the screwdriver,
we have to do this. Which, by the way, it is very unrealistic that a baby is using a screwdriver.
Well, how old is he technically in the show at the start?
I think 1, because isn't the first episode his first birthday?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah. So I mean, carrying it around, yes, but knowing how to use it, no.
Yeah.
But I think that's also part of how corny it is. That what kind of makes it a little entertaining.
Yeah.
It's there's no way that baby knows how to do it, and he's using it better than some people that use it every day.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so we're moving on. I almost kind of have a feeling which show is going to win, although the scores are looking very similar right now. I mean, the Jetsons took a couple of headers, but all right, so we're going to move on to Hey Arnold. We're going to move on to their episode, Shawn. All right, so David in the chat, we're on Hey Arnold right now.
I don't give
Arnold
a 9.
9?
Because just like we were talking about Rugrats, I mean, yeah, it was centered mainly around Arnold in that, but the episodes were never similar, and if they were, they always finished it the next episode. They were always different. Something always was moving, I should say. They never got boring. There was good quality in it and good writing.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I'm sorry, I was reading a comment.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the one about Dave described another one of the episodes. Rugrats episodes. All right, Eric, go ahead.
I'm only giving it a 7. I can't speak. Sorry.
That's all right. So you're only going to give Hey Arnold's episodes a 7?
Yeah.
Right.
And remember, I'm looking at it from an adult, from myself as an adult.
Right, because you went back and you watched it. Again, it would be very easy to go back
and say 10.
Yeah, and go back and say 10 because, again, this was one of your favorite shows. So not looking at it with an objective eye.
Right.
Yep.
Okay.
So I'm trying to do
I based mine off of being more of what I remember as a kid.
Yeah.
And how into it. I'm sure I'd be like Eric if I was to watch it more today. I'd be like, I can't really get behind it, but I remember as a kid I would sit there and watch multiple episodes.
Yeah. That's the way I'm looking at it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And by the way, everybody can look at it, however they want. I mean, the points, the points being the points. I mean, who knows right now with with some of these scores, and again, having a fourth person judge definitely does help. So Winnie the Pooh is screwed. I'm pretty sure.
Sorry.
Simpsons might be in a little bit of trouble too. Who knows?
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
Yeah, but Shawn also. We all have that power to reenact, to revive one show to go at it in a head-to-head battle with a wild card spot. But like with Hey Arnold, and I'm gonna agree with you and David, and I'm gonna say a 9. Because some of the episodes I watched earlier, like nothing really bored me, nothing annoyed me. I thought a couple of the episodes were cool, like when Arnold was helping the stoop kid, the kid that didn't want to leave his stoop.
Oh yeah, that's right. I remember that episode.
It's like that typical episode where it's like, you know, you always have that person that doesn't like leaving their house.
Yeah.
And then like when you finally get them to leave their house, that's when they get hit by like a bus or something. But like here, it was just like, you know, Arnold helped stoop kid, you know, finally leave his stoop.
Yeah.
And then
that was a great episode.
Yeah. But then after, like, you realize stoop kid actually was a bully.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
The one episode, I think it was actually the movie I remember the most was, I think it's when they go, or Arnold goes looking for what happened to his parents or something like that.
Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about.
I can't remember exactly but there was a scene in there, and I remember it like it was yesterday. I was sitting in my family's house on the couch as a kid, and the grandpa comes running in the house, and he's like, "Oh, I gotta piss like a racehorse" or something like that. And that's the first time as a kid I've ever heard something like that in a kid movie.
Yeah.
Or even a show. I just remember just died laughing, and for like a week I was like, I gotta piss like a racehorse.
I think in this show too, I actually think they said the word, I forgot what episode it was, but they said the word crap.
That wouldn't surprise me.
And I was just like, really? Like in a cartoon? Okay. Like I'm not disrespecting it or anything. But like there was the other episode too where Arnold and Gerald actually end up on a date with, I mean, the girls said they were only 6th graders, but they looked like high schoolers.
Yeah. Yeah, they definitely looked older than portrayed.
And they went like on a double date to a dance or something like that. And the girls were just stringing Arnold and Gerald along because they wanted to, you know, make their boyfriends jealous.
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, Arnold's date was hot for a cartoon. I mean, well, again, that's the way I thought when I was younger. I mean, I know that, again, she looked older than what she actually. Cat Dog David was another episode. It was a part of another battle a couple weeks ago.
It did not do well.
Or
no, it did okay. It wasn't awful.
I mean, it's not in the wild card, but it came in 3rd. It was 6 spots away from a wild card.
It didn't come in last, though.
So, no need to apologize. If you're a brand new viewer, you don't know this stuff. Now, if one of us made the mistake, then it would be held against us. But all right, so I gave the Hey Arnold episodes a 9. All right, so we're moving on to Rocket Power. So David in the chat, we're moving on to the episodes of Rocket Power. Shawn, we're going to start with you. And go ahead.
10. I always just, every episode was a little different from the last, and they kept it interesting with how they were like about extreme sports. So there was, skateboarding, hockey, boating, skiing, surfing,
snowboarding.
Yeah, it was almost like everything. They did everything.
Yeah.
And it wasn't all like, I think they had like designated episodes where they were like, okay, this is a hockey episode. This is a skateboarding episode. Because I remember there was an episode it was Otto and his team versus the bullies. And I can't, who's the goalie's name? I can't remember his name.
Wasn't that Twister? Or no, not
No,
Twister.
Twister
right?
was the follow along kid.
Yeah. It was the goalie wasn't he? It wasn't he his name like Squid or something?
Squid, thank you. And he was like, I think that's when they like first met him or something. It was one of the very few episodes.
Didn't he turn around like he wasn't paying attention? He was like picking his nose or something like that.
Yeah, he like
Are
made
we
like
thinking of the same episode?
I can't remember. I just remember an episode. I think he just moved to the same area, and they were outside playing hockey, and he did something. I think he like stopped the puck, and then they're like, "Oh, you got to become our goalie." And then he got really scared. Yeah, he got like really scared, and then they started playing, and then something happened. He got really mad, and then he just like became unstoppable. Like he stopped everything, and I thought that was a great episode because it just showed like a little bit of a new character instant development.
Yeah.
And like it just fit him right in right away, made him believable.
Right.
But then I remember also like there was a video game I played, like almost, I can't remember the name of it, but the video games were great too. But I was never bored watching that show.
Right.
Never bored. There was always, even if it was stuff that was like not believable, they kind of kept it believable. And like everybody had their own parts in it, and they never it never did me wrong, I should say.
Right.
So yeah, 10.
All right. All right. So David in the chat room gives it a 9. I'll put his explanation up here. All right, Eric, we're gonna go to you next.
8.5. Just being kind of a newer viewer, I liked it, and a different perspective than from the other shows I'm more familiar with.
Right. All right. So, and here's the funny thing. Now, for anybody else watching in the chat right now, if you want to do what Dave is doing and help us score, that's fine. The categories are. I started jesting the chat, and then we lose a viewer. But your categories right now, we're on the episode category. If you want to give out some scores, if not, that's okay. You just keep watching. But all right. So for me, Rocket Power's episodes, again, this is like Eric. I'm coming into this as kind of a new viewer because I don't remember really the show from back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
But from what I saw, because there was one episode, Squid's dad came in town. And his dad was more focused on the business side or on conducting his business than he really was entertaining his son. And Twister and Otto thought he was the greatest kid in the world, or thought he was the greatest guy in the world. And Squid was just like, he's not really paying attention to me. And Regina was the only one that felt sorry for him. Or Reggie, or whatever she's referred to as.
I think she went as Reggie, but her real name.
I mean, her real name is Regina.
Yeah.
But Reggie was the only one that really felt sorry for him, and that shows like her human side, I think.
Yeah, she was like the voice of reason out of that group. Otto was like the wannabe, try to be leader.
Yeah.
Twister was just let's do it. I'll do it. Like kind of like what egg on, but was more of a follower. And Squid was just the anxious one that knew better, but kind of just got wrapped up into it.
Yeah. But it's so like for me, the episodes, I think I would have to go a 9 with you, or I would go 9 with David. So, by the way, this is probably the most informative episode we've done. Because, we're given a lot of insight and a lot of explanation as to instead of just saying, oh, 10, 9, 10, 9, 8, 7.
Basically, we're continuing what we did last night.
Yeah. To where we're giving a lot of insight and we're actually letting people know that we actually know what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Or at least we're faking it really good. But
I
all right.
totally don't have a Google script up on my second monitor with like details of every show.
Yeah.
Okay. Don't do that.
Yeah, that's not happening, folks.
I'm watching the Sabre game over here.
Yeah. Did it start? It started at 8, right?
Yeah, and I already witnessed something that was it was gross. Tage Thompson was 2 steps on a breakaway ahead of this guy. Doesn't take the shot, decides I'm going to stop and do a spinorama between the leg shot to get around the defenseman that, you didn't have to do. You could have just taken the frickin' shot. Instead, you rooped it over the net.
That's the Buffalo Sabres star player, folks.
Yeah.
Anybody keeping score at home.
I don't know how to shoot a breakaway, so I'm just going to do a spinorama.
Right.
Is it snowing yet?
Oh, yeah. It's snowing there out now. So...
Are you guys supposed to get snow too?
We're supposed to get, I think they said, up to like 6 to 7 inches over tonight, I think.
Oh, Lord.
So
I think we're supposed to get
it's not
snow.
much. I mean, I know it sounds like a lot, but out here it's not.
I think we're supposed to get like an inch today, and then we're supposed to get 2 to 4 on Tuesday.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought
We're in a winter. We're in an advisory watch until like 4 p.m. tomorrow, I think.
Yeah, I think we have an advisory, I think. When the hell is it? Winter weather advisory until 6 a.m. tomorrow. So it's mixed precipitation. And it is.
That's why everybody was shopping today.
Yep.
I just stayed home and took a nap. Let's see.
I took a nap earlier, but I was up at 6, started streaming at 7, and then took a nap.
I look at it this way: if the Eagles win tomorrow, nobody's going to be out in the streets celebrating. I mean, it's Philadelphia, so I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah.
Oh no, they probably will.
Yeah. All right, so we're going to move on to humor and entertainment value. So Dave in the chat, we're starting humor and entertainment value. We're starting with the Jetsons, and Shawn, that means we're starting with you.
I don't know if this is going to get a lot of heat, but I'm giving it a 5. The only thing I ever thought was funny of that show is when George's boss would be like, Jetson?
Yeah.
And that was the only like humor I thought about it. Or that grasped my attention.
Right.
But other than that, it was just more like, it obviously had its moments, but the more you watch it and the more you realize that, yeah, it is kind of just centered on the father. Yep. The jokes kind of just, they don't really hit as funny as you think they would.
Exactly.
Right.
But, I mean, there were entertaining episodes, so I don't want to go, give it 3. But there wasn't much to it being that entertaining.
Right. Eric?
I'm giving it 5 too, so I'll be right there with you, Shawn, if we get hit. If somebody tries to hit us.
Well, David doesn't care. He gave it a 3.
I'll fall asleep to the yeah.
Well, so did I. I almost fell asleep to it earlier. I had to turn it off and turn something else on.
Honestly, the most entertaining part of that show is probably just the theme song.
Yeah. The most entertaining part to me is when the dog does something. All right, so I'm gonna say, and again, I'll take the heat. I don't care. I'm only giving it a 2.
Yeah.
So
I almost went lower than 5.
Yeah. Well, when I brought up the fact that this is one of your former boss's favorite shows, you halted a little bit, and you're like, maybe I should go higher.
I mean, if that's the reason he got fired, though, that's a nice little pocket changed lawsuit.
Well, I mean, former boss. No, she no longer. She retired.
Oh, well, then it don't matter.
Yeah,
she has no power over you anymore, Eric.
Oh, he's been her lapdog for.
Don't do it, Eric.
Yeah,
not
well,
worth
they can't
it.
change the score now because they already wrote it, so I'm not gonna do that to them.
Well, you can always put a 2-point in front of it.
Yeah. No, but no, like 3 is like, or no, 5 is. I mean, to me, 5 is a little too. I mean, I might be being too harsh, but
Well, I think we also have our own perspective of what 1 through 10 is.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Like, to me, again, like I've said it before many times for a lot of the cartoon stuff that we've done, and I've been basically covering cartoons on podcasts in some form or another for 5 years now.
Yeah.
Or going on maybe 6. Yeah. So so I've been covering cartoons on a podcast form in some form or another for like 5 years now, and I've said it multiple times. Jetsons, Flintstones, and Scooby-Doo, yes, are the original 3. Jetsons to me was always at the bottom.
Yeah, same. I would much rather watch Flintstones or Scooby-Doo.
Yeah. So it's
to me. I'd watch Kim Possible over the Jetsons.
Well, in a couple of weeks, you're going to have to, because she is going to be in a league.
All right, word.
Yeah. Not next week, but in a couple of weeks, because next week, and I'll talk about it when we're done what we're going to do. But next week's going to be a little. Next week, we the league that we're doing, like going back and thinking about it now, it's like, oh God. So it's going to be a different perspective. I don't think we're going to be as kind as we have been to Rugrats and Hey Arnold and Rocket Power here. The shows next week, like one of those shows might get that treatment, but I'll cover that at the end of the show.
Ooh, I forget what league it is, but I'm interested to see what shows it is again.
Yeah. All right. So humor and entertainment value of
Hey Arnold.
No, humor and entertainment value of Rugrats. So Dave in the chat, Rugrats is next.
Oh. I knew it would come to this because I wrote 2 different numbers. I have 7.5 and 8.5. So I'm gonna go with 7.5.
Okay.
Because I mean, there was a lot of humor involved with it, but it was like that kind of, if you don't get it, you're never going to get it type of humor, I would guess. But entertaining wise, it's like David said earlier, you never know what's going to happen in the episode with the kids, what they're getting into. And everybody has their like little quirky side where they send like quick little jab. Like the grandfather was probably the funniest out of everybody. The dad was more like you kind of feel a little sorry in a sense. You don't like pity him, but you're like, oh man, I know how that feels, especially if you're a dad watching the show. So yeah, 7.5. I don't want to give it like too high of a number because it wasn't always consistent.
Yeah.
But it never was awful or bad.
Right. Eric?
And with that being said, I'm turning off the Saber game because they just went down 2-0.
All right. Good thinking. Eric?
I'm giving it 7. I don't want to give it too high or too low because it was still one of my favorites, so I don't want to be too harsh about it. So, but not too biased.
Right. All right. So I'm gonna go a little higher. And when I say little, I mean by a point. I'm going to say 8. Because there was entertaining aspects to this.
Yeah.
All right. Dave also says 8. there was entertaining aspects to this. Yes, the grandpa was probably the funniest one, but if you think about it, like Phil and Lil kind of had a little bit of humor to them too.
I think both of them that was their baseline for what they brought to the show.
Yeah.
Because they're twins. Right? Yeah, they're twins. And so, I honestly think they're the two that, like, that's where they're like the comedic relief. I think that's how you put it.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. Absolutely. All right. So I give it an 8. Dave gave it,
put an 8.5, Doug. Humor and entertainment, Dave, are the same category.
Yeah. Humor and entertainment are the same category. So well, it's humor and entertainment value.
Yeah.
But
that'd be hard to score them separately.
Yeah.
Because, like, I don't even know what I was going to say. You could have a show that's very funny, but very bland in the content behind it.
Yeah.
And then you can have it almost the complete opposite, which I think one of these shows kind of almost has the same, more of like an entertainment to humor ratio.
Right. Yeah. So, all right. So I got him marked down at an 8. I mean, and I already wrote 8, so I'm not going to change it. I mean, I get what he's saying, but also too, it's like, humor and entertainment to me kind of means like the same thing.
Doug is our tribal chief.
Yeah. So, all right, we're going to move on. Hey Arnold is next.
So I think this is one of those that's more entertainment to, well, I know, I would say it's more humor than entertainment for this one. So I gave it another 8.5.
Okay.
Because, I mean, Helga was, anytime she was the bully, it was funny. But, like, immediately when she went into the, oh my God, it's Arnold, or the smell of his hair, the size of his face, like that was, even the episodes I watched last week, I was still laughing at that.
Yeah.
Like, those were just spot on how life was back then with if you're getting bullied by a girl, allegedly. But it was never, I think it was based more off of just trying to be more humor than entertaining.
Right.
But that's just my perspective. But they balanced it out pretty well. So.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And it's not like they didn't do anything crazy.
No.
It was just one of those. All around, it's just one of those basic great shows for kids that are like 8 to 12.
Yeah. That's the funny thing is that, like, again, like Rugrats, I think, was more for like the toddler group.
Yeah, 3 to 6, 3 to 5,
3 to 6, maybe 3 to 7.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm trying to think when the hell, because my sister was the main Rugrats fan, right? And I'm pretty sure when the show really got hot, she was about 4 or 5.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna look it up. Hold on.
Well, it started in 91 and she was 1, I think, at that time. But like when it really started to get hot, especially when they started making the new episodes, again, earlier, after I said that, they were, they made the comeback after doing so well in with the repeats.
Mm-hmm.
But like Hey Arnold, yeah, like you said, like 8 to 12 is really like the Hey Arnold target audience. Eric, go ahead and give your rating.
An 8. I thought there was some humor, and I did find some entertainment in it.
So any show that has grandparents in it, the grandparents always seem like they have to be entertaining.
Yep.
And then like there was the one episode where Arnold wanted to get tickets to see his favorite baseball player in his retirement game. And Grandpa gave him what he thought was an extra $5, but it was a 50.
Yeah.
And he's like, Arnold, come back. And then Arnold in the next segment acknowledged, he's like, I would have had more money, but Grandpa took his $50 back.
Yeah.
I'm gonna agree with everybody, and I'm gonna say an 8. All right. So last here in humor and entertainment value is Rocket Power. Shawn, we're gonna start with you.
9.5. I believe that this was definitely a show based on entertainment and not humor. Right. They had their comedic reliefs, as in like, Otto and Reggie's dad. He was kind of like he wasn't funny, but he was funny enough.
Yeah.
And then Squids was funny because he was just so quirky and kind of like, he's just that one funny kid on every show. But they definitely decided like entertainment value just because of all the extreme sports they were doing and everything they would get into. So based off of the entertainment of that show alone, I gave it a 9.5 because there wasn't a lot of humor, but when they had it, it was good.
Yeah.
But that's all I gotta say.
Right.
Yep.
Eric?
I give it a 9. As I said, kind of being a newer viewer, I found it hilarious. I found some humor in it, and it was very entertaining, more so than other shows.
Right. All right. And Dave in the chat, just so you know, we are on the humor and entertainment value of Rocket Power. I don't know if you're in the middle of typing in a score or not.
You better give it a 10.
Well, yeah, he's your friend, so that's something you got to deal with if he doesn't do things your way. All right, so for me, I'm actually. Oh, he said 9 as well.
9. I'll accept it, Dave. I'll accept it.
All right, I'm also going to give it a 9 because it might not have been humor, but there was a lot of entertainment value, I think, to it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because the dad really did kind of add like the comedic value. So did the neighbors, if you think about it.
Mm-hmm.
And Dad's business partner. So this show, Rocket Power, probably like I think a lot of people, especially like in the groups that I put this in on like Facebook, a lot of people say, "Oh, well, it should be Jetsons should win, or maybe Rugrats." I don't think anybody would count it on how well Rocket Power probably did.
I think that too, because Rocket Power is not a huge name unless you were like a newer kid watching it.
Yeah.
Jetsons it came out the same time as, Looney Tunes and Scooby-Doo, and it was in that era. And since those two are so iconic, I think they're just attached to the names.
Yeah.
Of that era.
Jetsons, Flintstones, Looney Tunes, Scooby-Doo.
Yeah, like that's all like an iconic era with so many great shows that I think they just kind of fell there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So now is the math portion of the show. So I'm going to leave it up to you two to talk amongst yourselves. Or not talk amongst yourselves on the air so we don't have any dead air. Well, I take the few minutes and do the math here.
Let's all take a round of applause. Take this time. Josh Allen, MVP.
Oh, I was so happy.
Well deserved.
So how was your day, Shawn?
Cold. How about yours?
I worked until 3.
Who works?
I at least go to work. I don't know if I actually work, but I go to work.
That's fair. Oh God, my nose is itching so bad. My wife just brought me a chocolate cream puff. Look at that.
Let's see. Are the Flyers playing tonight?
Ooh.
Oh yeah.
Who are they playing? Oh, they're winning against Pittsburgh. Yay.
That's not saying much. Pittsburgh sucks.
I know. But it's still Pittsburgh.
All right, I'm gonna say this right off the bat. I don't really like giving out scores until after. Obviously, the Jetsons did not make even the wild card.
Damn, it's probably from the entertainment value scores we did.
Yeah, I think we drug it all. I think we drug
that one
down.
just shot it down.
Yeah.
David asked, "What's your favorite cartoon?"
Favorite cartoon. All right. My all-time favorite cartoon is it's either got to be Flintstones or Ninja Turtles.
Yep, I knew that.
Yeah.
Well, he didn't. He asked a question.
Mine would be Rocket Power, obviously. If I had to give a close second, maybe Codename Kids Next Door. Maybe.
I don't know, man.
I was more into at this time, I would like Rocket Power and I'd like Nickelodeon shows, but that's around the same time, was it, it's still Nickelodeon. They were coming out with Guts, Figure It Out, more like real shows, not cartoon shows.
I'll let Doug answer.
Global Guts, Legends of the Hidden Temple.
Yeah.
I was
I like all those shows, by the way.
Legends of the Hidden Temple if it was just show, Legends of the Hidden Temple. Yu-Gi-Oh would be a top 5. Pokemon top 5.
Yep.
Yu-Gi-Oh was a good show. That would be a hard one too if you put Yu-Gi-Oh up against Pokemon. I know Pokemon's more expanded more than Yu-Gi-Oh ever
Mine's probably
did.
Recess.
Ooh, that's a good one. Oh crap! What was the other one I used to watch a lot? Magic School Bus. That was another huge one I watched, but that was based off, that was strictly kid show.
Either Recess or Pokemon or
it depends on your version of anime, Dave. I think we did Dragon Ball Z, didn't we? Did you guys do?
We did Pokemon.
Pokemon, okay. So I would assume Pokemon's anime. I mean, it's a cartoon. It's not like this modern day, look at these girls with huge breasts and skimpy clothing anime. Genshin Impact.
Gotta catch them all, Pokemon.
We've actually been watching. We just finished the first season of Pokemon. We're on the second one. William likes it. He has a little Squirtle. There's the Squirtle episode in season 1 where the Squirtles are working with Ash, but they're also working with Rocket Power. Whatever deal seems more impressive to them. They're all wearing their sunglasses and stuff. You love Squirtle.
Squirtle.
Naruto, that's something Doug's going to have to answer.
What's that?
He asked about Naruto and stuff.
I mean, we can. I mean, they're not in any of the categories that we've discussed. We can, when I do other cartoon tournaments, if you guys want to include them, that's fine.
Those are, I guess you can classify them as a cartoon, but
I mean, I would say Naruto and Dragon Ball Z are cartoons. I've never heard of the other two.
They're all similar stuff.
The
problem with anime now is there's just so many different shows that are so alike. I think, at least. I don't know what you think, Dave, but and then there's the animes that are the same, but they did so well in one show they had to spin it off to make a separate show to describe one other character's life, and then it just ends up getting lost in confusion because you're used to one and then more pop out and you're like, what the heck? I've never watched Naruto. I can say that with a passion. Black Clover, never heard of it. Attack on Titan, I've heard of it, never watched. Dragon Ball Z, I've watched a few episodes, and that's only because my wife is a diehard Dragon Ball Z fan, and I can show you why.
So what's your kid's favorite cartoon, Shawn?
You want to see something very impressive? Doug, Eric, and David that my wife can draw. They're not colored in yet. She drew that by hand.
Oh, wow.
There's two more I gotta show you. Here's this one. Sorry, it's hard to see it up close. I'll slowly start from the bottom and work my way up. Drew that by hand. And then there's one more, and I'm sorry, Doug, I know you're probably done. Cool. But then she has this one.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
So if you guys ever want anything like that, she can draw you up something for a decent price.
Okay. Cool.
That's not
All right.
like hundreds of dollars.
All right, so we have a big shakeup in the cartoon classic atmosphere.
Uh-oh.
In last place, and they do not get a wild card spot. They do not get a wild card spot, but in last place with 133 points is the Jetsons. So they are...
We really messed that up with the humor and entertainment.
The humor and entertainment value, we really like...
That's
we
what brought
put the
that
screws
down.
to them. All right. In second place, and by the way, so they shift. So they kind of shift down. So Winnie the Pooh's out. Winnie the Pooh is officially out. Like, they're no longer in the running for a wild card unless somebody tries to revive him for a battle back.
Which could happen.
Yeah, which very well could happen, by the way. But in third place at 159.5 points is Hey Arnold.
Okay. Wow.
So now, taking out the Simpsons.
Oh,
The
boy.
Simpsons are done for right now. Again, they could be resurrected and brought back for a battle back. But Rugrats took them out at 164.
Wow.
No revive, they flatline.
Yeah.
Flatline them.
Yeah. Well, Winnie the Pooh they might have.
You pulled
Simpsons, I'm
the
pretty sure.
life support.
Yeah. Well, again, some of these cartoons can be revived and put back in for a battle back. I mean, that doesn't mean they're going to win the battle back because they got to go back through us. But so Rugrats comes in at 164. So Simpsons is moved out of the wild card.
Oof.
So that means your winner at 172 points is Rocket Power.
Nice.
Now,
Congratulations, Shawn.
I wasn't biased at all, I promise.
Yeah. By the way, Shawn, what that also means is right now, them and X-Men the Animated Series have the first round bye.
Oh, wow.
So 172 points, they beat out Scooby-Doo.
Oh,
Dang.
shit.
So,
Well, big shout out for David too for helping with some scores too.
yeah, exactly. So if we would not have had his help, the Hey Arnold and Rugrats and Rocket Power may probably still would have won, but Hey Arnold and Rugrats are right now, they're in the wild card spot again. When we revive and do battle backs, who knows if they'll survive or not, depending on what we bring back.
Right.
But yeah, Rocket Power right now has a first round bye. I don't think anybody saw that coming.
No.
I didn't think
did you?
No, I didn't. I know Shawn wanted it.
He put an evil spell on us.
It's just, I think it was more of like the turn of the century generational show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was just like Scooby-Doo and them. They had, that style of show where there's not a lot of mystery shows at the time like that. And the way they've done it was just iconic. And then Rocket Power, I think at that time in the 90s, extreme sports was taken off.
Yeah.
So I think they just were like, well, this is taken off. So bam, let's hit that genre real quick and see how it works. And I think it was, yeah. I don't know. You know what I'm trying to say.
I know exactly what you're trying to say. And that's the thing is that so a lot of the cartoons that have been in this thing, you look at like the list of what we've done so far, and it's just like, okay, all these cartoons, and we know like what's been popular throughout the year. So it's like, all right, you look at the cartoons that have advanced, and it's like somebody looking at it at first be like, all right, well, the first round buys have to go to like Ninja Turtles or Scooby-Doo or Flintstones or He-Man, which didn't even make the cut. Like
one of those shows that everybody knows about.
Yeah.
And it's just a huge following already. And
yeah,
that's why it constantly is up top.
Yeah. X-Men, the animated series, and Rocket Power have the buys right now. Now, again, that could change.
Yep.
Because we still have 3 of these leagues to go with. But right now, this is what makes this kind of like, what makes this very interesting is like, I never expected this, even though like I'm one of the people scoring it. It's just like, I didn't think.
I knew this one was going to be close, but I didn't think the Jetsons would have done so bad.
Yeah. I thought it was going to come down between Jetsons and the Rugrats.
Yeah. Well, it also helps that, like, not just because David's in the chat adding on a score, but like our different perspectives of it. Well, like I like when we were talking about the Jetsons, like theme song and stuff, that also helped me change a little bit of my aspect of the humor and entertainment.
Yeah.
Or like the episodes, like when we go through that, I think it just helps us realize, oh, I didn't think of this that way before, and that's actually a very good point.
Yeah,
yeah. Exactly. David swayed my thinking about Jetsons.
Yeah,
yeah, and he did say, he's like, Shawn will let me know when the next stream is, and I'll help. I'll keep helping score. Well, we appreciate that.
Thank you, David.
Yeah, tell your friends. Tell them to hit that subscribe button and get involved.
Like, subscribe, comment, hit the bell. All right. So do we want to know, by the way, this is the most informative show we've done.
Almost 2 hours, too. The longest one we've done.
Yeah. So, all right. So I'm assuming we want to know what we're doing next week, right?
Oh, yeah.
All right. Next week is the Cats League.
Oh, boy.
Garfield and Friends, which is it's the 1983 one. It's on Peacock.
1983.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's still on Peacock.
Okay.
Or at least it was last time I looked it up. Oh. But yeah, it's the original Garfield, I think. It's Garfield and Friends. So, yep, it's right here. The Christmas special's on Peacock too. All right, yeah, it's
I think they got a bunch of them on Disney Plus now.
Yeah.
Or on Netflix, I'm sorry.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it's the one Garfield and Friends. I believe it's from 1983. It's 7 seasons. So that is one of them. The other one, and this one is also on Peacock, but you can also find episodes on YouTube. It's a very odd one, but it's called Samurai Pizza Cats.
Samurai Pizza?
Yep.
Pizza Cats. I have never heard of that.
It's from 1990, and it started out as a Japanese show.
Probably why I never heard of it.
Yeah. So Garfield and Friends, Samurai Pizza Cats, Heathcliff, which is on Paramount.
Heathcliff?
Yeah.
Heath.
He's basically a Garfield ripoff.
Okay. That's how I spelled that wrong.
Yeah. And Thundercats.
Oof. That's I don't even know how to say it because I've never seen the Samurai Pizza Cats or Heathcliff. So that's going to be interesting.
It's gonna be an interesting battle next week, and I don't know if if those shows are going to surpass what these shows did tonight. Can you imagine the hate that we're gonna get, or at least it's gonna fall on me? That the Simpsons are out of the running right now, or at least until they get revived.
Well, I'm reviving them.
You know what,
Eric? You got to wait until after.
You know what you should do after this entire season is over of what we're doing?
Yeah.
Make a video and compile it all. You know what I mean? Not like, because that would be like a 12-hour episode. Yeah. So you would like edit it, funny points, but then at the end, how you score it.
Yeah.
Work it that way. Yeah. That's probably where you'll get all the hate.
Yeah. But yeah, no, as far as like reviving, Eric, you can't revive anything until after all the leagues have been battled.
I can't wait. I'm actually very interested because I don't know anything about the other two.
I only know Garfield.
I know Garfield. I don't. It's probably not that one. Thundercats. I just know the name.
I know the name. Yeah. The other two I don't even know.
I've never watched Samurai Pizza Cats. Like it's
a cool name, honestly. It's got me intrigued. Like I might actually start watching some tonight, find it on YouTube or something.
But yeah, so right now, like I said, New Adventures of Winnie the Pooh and Simpsons got knocked out. Doug is on the verge of getting knocked out, but not yet. I mean, we'll see. It might happen next week. Dave, you're very welcome. You're welcome back anytime, especially next week if you're available. But like
next week, Dave.
Yeah,
7:00. I'll remind you throughout the week if you're still watching.
Yeah, but so Simpsons and Winnie the Pooh have been knocked out for now. Again, they can be revived after everything is done and over with. So just keep that in mind. I know Eric already said he's going to revive them, but just wait until after all the other battles, because we still have the Cats League next week, and then it'll be the Superhero League, and then we're capping it off with the Kids League. That'll be our 10th and final league battle. And that one, and the Superhero one's going to be pretty big too. Superhero one, we actually might have like a whole crap ton of people that want to be on and be.
That's why I saved it for last.
Well, I mean, it's second to last because technically mine goes 10th, but it's the last of the ones that you picked.
Fair enough.
But
can I put a plug in real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
So it's only because David was very helpful, but so he also is a streamer on Twitch. So for anybody that was viewing today, go over to Twitch, look up TCAX Godsent, and follow that kid. He's putting out some good work, good gameplay. He was just playing Chivalry 2. I watched him get destroyed. It was funny.
But all right. So yeah, everybody.
I just wanted to give him a quick little shout out because he did help us out today. So
Yeah, no, absolutely. Anybody that helps us out, obviously, will help out by making sure they get their, as LA Knight says, get their stuff in.
Get the plug.
But yeah, all right. So this was probably one of our, like I said, it was one of our more informative and also, by the way, longest episodes we've done. And Rocket Power, I think, pulled out the upset.
Yes, it did. Probably the biggest upset of this tournament so far.
So far, there's still 3 weeks to go. I mean, who knows what Samurai Pizza Cats is going to do next week?
You're welcome, Dave.
But all right, so we're going to go ahead and get out of here. Mainly because I got to pee.
Listen to Unscripted Sports. I might be back tomorrow night, depending on how outcome of the game.
Yeah.
If they win, I'll probably do a live stream. If they lose, depending on how they lose.
Yeah.
Oh wait, Doug, over and under. How many times are you going to see Taylor Swift shown in the game?
I'm actually not planning on watching tomorrow.
Oh, I have 15 plus. I'm not watching, but I'm going 15 plus.
I'll say at least 20.
Damn.
I think 21.
Well, here's another quick question. Do you think she wants that, or does she secretly hate the fact that she's so overshown in the NFL?
Well, I think now that there's talk about the refs in the league favoring the Chiefs, I think now she's gonna tell Travis, she'll be like, tell them not to show me.
I don't know if that will help though, because I feel like she doesn't want that type of attention, but it's forced because of who she is.
Yeah. Well, go ahead, Eric.
I was going to say I have a question, but you go first.
No, I was just going to say, is that because Travis, this whole talk about the refs helping the Chiefs get to where they are and all that, Travis Kelce is being driven nuts.
Yeah.
He's being very, he's not happy. He does not like this. It's getting to him.
Good. I hope he thinks about it the entire game and he drops the game-winning pass.
So
and then he goes to propose to Taylor and she's like, no, in front of millions.
It's funny. I said that to somebody yesterday because somebody asked, is do you think if they three-peat tomorrow, do you think, he's going to propose to Taylor? I said, yeah, but I don't know if he's going to say yes.
I think the biggest question other than that is if they three-peat, even though Andy Reid said he was coming back next year, do you think he just retires off the three-peat victory?
No, I think they go for four-peat.
I mean, I think he did come out and say that he was coming back next year, but I don't know.
Well, here's the thing you gotta remember, and Dave makes a good point. It only gets to you when it's true. So the fact that it's getting to Travis kind of tells you something.
Yep. They're finally getting called out.
But also, what you got to remember is that, if they do three-peat tomorrow, nobody's going to talk about how great they are. All the fans are going to make an excuse, even if they do somehow earn the win tomorrow. All the fans are going to talk about is, oh, you got this far because of the refs. So I don't even think they're going to be able to enjoy it tomorrow.
They would have to blow us out.
Yeah, and I don't see that happening unless Chris Jones can somehow find a way to neutralize Saquon Barkley.
Yep.
Yeah, that's I listened to WGR out here, 550 Radio. Shout out to them. They were talking about why Philadelphia is so scary, low-key scary, and now since AJ Brown's back, is not only can Hurts run the ball, but you have the amazing, really good receivers that can beat you one-on-one. They're just man-to-man burners. But then if you do not stack your D line in front, they're just going to run it with Barkley. But then if you stack it and you take that extra guy off the back end, they're just going to beat you with one of the receivers. And it all just comes down to, is Hurts good enough to read the right play and make that good pass. And
Right.
that's what they were all about. Of why they had so much success, or why Barkley had so much success, is because he would never run the ball if they were stacking, I think, more than 5. And if they did, it was more like an outside pitch or a screen.
Right.
So.
All right, so we're going to go ahead. We just hit the 2-hour mark. We're going to get out of here.
Yep.
So,
Yeah, my question was if Travis Kelce was going to propose to Taylor Swift. But
I don't know. I think a couple weeks ago he was planning on it. I don't think he's planning on it now.
Yeah, probably not.
Yeah,
probably not.
But all right, so next week is the Cats League. Samurai Pizza Cats versus Garfield and Friends versus Heathcliff versus Thundercats. Rocket Power takes the victory in this one. We'll see everybody next week. I'm Dutchie. That's Money E. That's Shawn. Dave, thank you again very much for all your help in the chat. We'll see everybody next week. Later.
Go Birds.
See you guys. Have a good night.
You too.